And everybody, Jeff Lightsy Jr. here with the Black Boss channel and Victory Formation. Be sure to hit the thumbs up button, like, share, subscribe because we upload all the time. Now, it looks as if the fix is in. Well, not the fix, but the pick is in. The San Francisco 49ers have traded up to the number 3 spot to take Mac Jones. It looks like that's what all the big time reporters are saying. Adam Schefter is probably the one I go with the most because he seems to be the most accurate. Him and Ian Rappaport over at the NFL Network. And they are saying that the 49ers have they're going to take Mac Jones. Mac Jones, the Alabama quarterback, he had 4,500 passing yards, over 40 touchdowns, only a few interceptions, and he had a spectacular, what was the senior year, junior year, one of the redshirt junior year, something like that. He had a spectacular year, and he will go in the top 3 to the San Francisco 49ers. And to me, it still makes no sense. I'm gonna just say it. How in the hell you take Mac Jones over Justin Fields? I don't see it. I really don't. Mac Jones to me is a bigger Baker Mayfield, right? He's a bigger he's Jimmy Garoppolo without the NFL experience, maybe a little more healthy, right? Like you already have Jimmy Garoppolo, who has a winning record as your starting quarterback. Why in the hell would you draft the same guy? I mean, I guess you just hope he stays healthy, right? But like you have a better version of Mac Jones in your building right now. He's a limited quarterback with a divine ceiling is what I've heard people say on TV. And that's exactly right. Like Mac Jones, don't get me wrong. Mac Jones, I think, is a good player. I think he'll be a good NFL player. I don't think he'll be like terrible, right? But will you be able to justify taking him with the number 3 overall pick? Will you be able to justify trading 3 first-round picks to go up and get Mac Jones from 12 to 3 when he probably would have been there if you stayed put at 12? Like nobody else was fighting for Mac Jones. Nobody else was going to take Mac Jones in the top 3, in the top 5, and hell in the top 10. Not to say he couldn't have been a top 10 pick, right? But 17 starts, 1 year starting, and he's the 5th most talented quarterback in this draft. He's not more talented than Trevor Lawrence, Justin Fields, Zach Wilson, or Trey Lance. Like those guys have ceilings we don't know, right? They could be bust. Don't get me wrong. They could definitely be bust, Trevor Lawrence included. But when you look at the tape and you see what they're able to do athletically, when you see what they're able to do with their arm strength, when you see what they're able to do against superior competition. Now, Mac Jones had tough competition, but with not so much, not the best weapons, right? Nobody else played at Alabama. Nobody else had a Heisman Trophy winner receiver, had another receiver that'll probably go in the top 10, had 3 offensive linemen that'll go in the top, first round, right? Had defensive players that go in the first round, had a running back that'll go in the first round. Nobody else had that. That's going in this draft. Not one single quarterback in this draft had all of that. Right? Play on a perfect team with a perfect system, with Steve Sarkisian calling the plays, running the offense. Nobody else had that. And that's not Mac Jones' fault his team was that good. But he didn't stand out. There was nothing about his game that stood out. I will say, one thing I did like about Mac Jones, he is accurate. I'm not gonna act like he isn't. He is accurate, very accurate. He throws a great, he throws a perfect deep ball. I'm not going to pretend like he doesn't. He throws a perfect deep ball. But he's very limited. And in the NFL, guys are bigger, stronger, faster. His arm's not the best. And he won't have the best at every position like he did at Alabama. He won't have the best offensive line. He won't have the best receivers. He won't have the best coaching staff. He will have to make up for some deficiencies of his team. And can Mac Jones, do you see that in Mac Jones' future? I don't. I see a good quarterback. I see a Baker Mayfield prototype. I see a Kirk Cousins prototype. I see a Jimmy Garoppolo prototype. Jimmy Garoppolo plays for the 49ers right now. That is Mac Jones' ceiling. Those guys. Which that's not bad. That is going to get you 10, 15 years in the league. But is that going to win you a Super Bowl? Is that going to get your team over the top? It's going to get Mac Jones paid because he's going to go to San Francisco and win a bunch of games and put up some nice numbers, just like how Kirk Cousins is, just like how Baker Mayfield is. But when you get on the field across from a Patrick Mahomes or across from a Russell Wilson or across from an Aaron Rodgers or across from who's in the NFC, a Tom Brady, That's when the quarterback play needs to be elevated. When we saw Jimmy Garoppolo versus Patrick Mahomes, Jimmy Garoppolo was the better quarterback for 3 quarters. Patrick Mahomes needed 10 minutes, and he showed that's why you get those type of guys. That's why you go out and get those type of guys. Because for 10 minutes, we saw who the more superior quarterback was, and it made a hell of a difference. It made a hell of a difference. For 10 minutes, Patrick Mahomes was the best quarterback in that game for 10 game minutes. And it made a world of a difference. They ended up winning that game by 10 points. And it cost the 49ers a Super Bowl. Now, don't get me wrong. Kyle Shanahan has worked wonders. He got Matt Ryan an MVP. He turned Matt Schaub into a Pro Bowler. Kirk Cousins became one of the highest paid quarterbacks in the NFL because of Kyle Shanahan. Like, he's a QB wonder. He works wonders with QBs. He's got Jimmy Garoppolo's record. It's absurd, the winning percentage. But he has 0 Super Bowls to show for it. Because a lot of times he's going in with the least talented quarterback. And he has a chance to get a quarterback who has great upside, superior talent compared to Mac Jones. There's 2 of them. Well, I say both Trey Lance and Justin Fields. I'm a little shaky on Trey Lance, but definitely Justin Fields has superior talent compared to Mac Jones. And he's going to go with Mac Jones. To me, that's a mistake. That's a reach. That's trying to outsmart the room. Just like when Deshaun Watson, and it's not as drastic as this, but when Deshaun Watson and Mitchell Trubisky were both, now Patrick Mahomes, he's an outlier, right? Like, he ended up getting taken over Deshaun Watson, and he had crazy talent, but nobody thought he'd be what he is. So I'm going to take him, I'm going to remove him from that draft class. But Deshaun Watson and Mitchell Trubisky, now this isn't as great as that, but we clearly saw Deshaun Watson was a better quarterback than Mitchell Trubisky. Hell, they played in the same conference, and one was out beating Alabama, and the other couldn't start to his junior year. And they took the Bears took Mitchell Trubisky over Deshaun Watson. Look how that's turned out for the Bears. That's all I'm saying. Once again, I'm Jeff Lightsy Jr. at the Black Boss Channel on the Victory Formation Podcast. Be sure to hit the thumbs up button, like, share, subscribe, and follow me on Instagram at JLightsy7. I post content on there all the time. I'll see you guys next time.